Studying in Germany. How expensive is it, realistically? I will give you an honest picture so that you can estimate how much you individually pay. It depends on where you live and whether you choose a dorm or a shared flat. Whether you study at a private or a public university, your age, the way you commute, and your lifestyle. Let's figure this out together. Let's start with fixed costs you almost cannot dodge at all. Semester contribution, health insurance, and broadcasting fee. The Semesterbeitrag, also called semester contribution, you will have to pay this, and it is about 120 to 400 euros per semester. It depends a bit on the university, so it's about 20 euros to 70 euros a month. This is not tuition fee, this is a mandatory service bundle you pay for every semester at every university. This service bundle then supports the student union, which will in turn provide you with cheap food at the cafeteria and other things. For example, the Uni Hamburg charges 384 euros. At the other hand, the Technical University of Munich sits at 85 euros. What you also cannot dodge is the tuition fee. At other universities, some public universities do charge tuition fees. For regular bachelor's and consecutive masters at public universities, baseline tuition is basically zero. But for some universities in Baden-Württemberg, non-EU students have to pay 1,500 euros per semester. And at the Technical University of Munich, non-EU students have to pay about 2,000 to 3,000 per semester and 4,000 to 6,000 euros per semester in a master's degree. Private universities are a different story. You will always have to pay some kind of tuition fees. So you can plan roughly about 10,000 to 20,000 euros per year, depending on the program and the school. Then health insurance. I might make a video comparing health insurance providers in the future, so subscribe if you don't want to miss that. And you cannot dodge this because you must have health insurance in Germany. Without it, you cannot even enroll at the university. Expect to pay about 130 to 144 euros in total. This is at least the case if you're below the age of 30 and don't have any children. Students from Europe with an European health insurance card can typically keep their insurance. Students from other countries must get insurance within Germany. Now, the broadcasting fee, which is about 20 euros per household. This is a fee that every household has to pay, which is used to support media formats on TV, radio, and social media. Because you pay this per household, it means you can split this up in a shared flat. So right now, in my shared flat with 2 other roommates, we can share it and each person pays 6 euros and something. If you're a non-EU student, you will furthermore have to have a blocked account with 11,904 euros. This is an account that freezes your money and gives you access to 992 euros per month. So while you can use that money for paying the semester contribution, rent and everything else, you should know that you have to transfer the roughly 12,000 euros into your blocked account before you come to Germany. In addition, you also have to pay about 175 euros once for getting the visa and the residence permit. The exact amount depends a bit on the city though. Now we get to the costs that are a bit more flexible. The biggest one is, of course, housing. If you land in a dorm, it's usually the cheapest option. It can range from 150 euros to, let's say, 600 euros. The latest nationwide average for dorms is about 305 euros per month, including utilities. However, these can be a bit tough to get into because, well, obviously they're the cheapest and competition is high. For a WG, so a shared flat, the type of accommodation in which I live in, the average is about 500 euros nationwide. However, this also depends a lot on the city. Bigger cities like Hamburg, Munich, Berlin, and Frankfurt are rather expensive. In these cities, you'll probably rather pay 700 to 800 euros on average for one room. This already includes utilities like water and heating. Other cities are cheaper. I made this map for you, which shows you roughly how much you pay where. I also made a whole video about the cheapest cities for students in Germany that you can check out after this one. Important to know is that you will typically have to pay 3 times the cold rent, so the cost without utilities like water and heating, as a deposit to your landlord. You'll get that money back when you move out if you have left everything in the same condition as everything was when you moved in. What you pay for transportation depends on your university. Some have a deal through which you get the Germany ticket for about 35 euros per month. This allows you to travel through all of Germany with regional public transportation, so everything besides the fast trains basically. The price for the Germany ticket might rise in the next years though. Then you have to pay for food. With current prices, a realistic student range, if you mostly cook or go to the student cafeteria, is let's say 250 to 300 euros. If you eat out or buy convenience food, you should add more. For phone and internet, you can assume 10 to 30 euros for a SIM plan and 20 to 40 euros for a shared home internet in a shared flat. In addition, you should plan in a bit more for toiletries, clothing, other activities and so on, so maybe 100 to 250 euros a month depending on your lifestyle. So let's assume that you try to save money. You could pay about 650 to 700 euros per month if you live in an affordable city in a dorm, and furthermore just have a frugal lifestyle. If you live in an expensive city in a shared flat, you can expect to pay about 1,300 euros at least. And if you want to go out for eating and do more activities, you should add another 100 to 250 euros, maybe even more on top. Check out the next video, it will be helpful for you. I'm rooting for you, keep growing.